I have a question for you Redditors. Why do you guys suck at math? Seriously, as someone who was born gifted at math, I seriously don't understand why people struggle. I know I sound condescending, but this is a serious question, for serious Redditors only. Hello Redditors of the internet, Nobles Xenon here, and welcome to r/IAmVerySmart Part 12. Let's get started. So, we go to Facebook for this next intellectual who's watching a movie that says humans only use 3% of their brain. Google says we only use 10%. In college, a professor tested the class using some form of science. What kind of science? Who really knows? Half the class used 10%, some 5 to 6, and I was told I used 12%. To put it in perspective, if someone were to have the ability to use 50% of their brain, they could achieve flight like a bird. At 12%, I can tell you the reason I'm so misunderstood and deemed an a-hole by most is because I'm vastly smarter than most. Don't hate me, hate science. The reason why most people think you're an a-hole is because you keep bragging about your intelligence. This next one was taken from a reply criticizing his IQ. It's very hard living in a world filled with idiots, yes? When I was younger, I always wondered why people don't think the same as I do, understanding numbers and math in the same way, etc., or even something basic as memory. When I got older, 24, I guped my IQ tested at 139 and became a member of Mensa here in Sweden. It's a club for the smartest 1% of humanity. These days, you can fully understand the stupidness of humanity and how easy they are to manipulate and control by not even being smart. You can just get along and understand basic stuff, even with a low IQ of a 90 to 100. Nowadays, it's even worse, with all humans acting like ants with media as their queen. You seem to be one of those stupid humans. I would be very surprised if your IQ was higher than 80. Oh, my intelligence. It's in the top 1% of all of humanity. This next one is a discussion involving the need for education in the USA. Education does not equal intelligence. I was smoking weed all throughout high school and still scored higher than all of the kids that went on to become teachers. If I study high, take the test high, get high scores. That's some big brain logic right there. Abolish schools? Did they ever mention Nikola Tesla? Or did they pretend that Thomas Edison was a great inventor? We have a meme here, Red Bull, release date 1987, birds in 1986 have no wings. But of course, the intellectuals just have to ruin memes. Oh my god, can't believe people actually believe this. Red Bull is marketed towards humans for 1, and 2, birds also don't drink Red Bull, idiots. They could die from poison. 3, Red Bull wasn't even invented yet, so this quote meme makes 0 sense. Friggin' idiots. Your humor has no leg to stand on. I hope this page gets banned for promoting false information, blocking you, and no one bother responding. I don't waste my time with internet folk of a lower IQ, spelled W-A-I-S-T. I wish I was dumber. I wish I couldn't think about life and other such complicated thoughts. It's both a blessing and a curse. I don't know what to do about it. Can someone help me, please? Help me with my intellectualism. And this next one is just not like the other girls. 19-year-old girl takes pride in not being able to socialize with people in her age group. When you get along better with the 35-plus-year-old chemists and PhDs than with the 25-year-old partygoers. The curse of being different. Well, actually, God was like, psych. Psych, or psych pronounced as psych instead of psyche, as in using psychology to psych out someone. Psych spelled S-I-K-E was always just lazy spelling of spoken words by someone who didn't understand what they were hearing, like MC, Master of Ceremony, turning into MC spelled out in writing by people who don't know what MC was. And there were 17 fellow intellectuals who liked that. This next one is complaining about a TikTok with a typo in it, but I digress. No, I just don't like seeing people regressing on basic principles of adduction. It's sad to see either the failure of the people or the failure of the people. That isn't a typo. To be fair, I should have worded my previous comment more cordially, but I've digressed. And Applejack Lover 97 says, OP could have at least spelled education correctly, LMFAO. Basic principles of adduction, and this dude calls himself an intellectual. And now we've got a chick that tweets 20 plus times per day, suddenly worked at NASA and Google. Amazing. I love playing dumb for Twitter, but let's not forget that I'm 20, I've worked for NASA and Google, speak over 3 languages, graduated top of my class in biotechnology and math, and now I'm in med school. Oh, and let's not forget how I used to be a national team athlete, but had to step down because of injuries, yet I can't even count the exact number of languages I can speak. Hey, if you're enjoying this, then why not hit that like button? If you want to see more, subscribe and hit that little notification bell, and comment if you have something on your mind. Oh, we have another one of those people who try to disprove Einstein. You need to drop this idea that light travels. There is no proof. It has not been proven. Light shines and reflects off, radiant light warms but does not travel. The nearest to explaining it is that we can feel a point source of heat if we're near enough. The further we are, the less the effect. The same as for light. If light was traveling and there are no physical forms blocking it, then in theory a light the same size as the sun should generate a spot on a same size surface area that is equal, but it does not because the sun is a rounded surface. The only point source that will illuminate an equal size surface area is the atom that is facing it with a flat surface. That is logic. I proved Einstein wrong when I was 2 and will prove most of his theories wrong. At least 3 theories have been proved not true, and yet you people have not kept up with the new information, and I keep hearing people saying that light speed is the quickest rate of travel. Force and integrity versus resistance. POV. You're a freshman studying engineering and think you're an engineer. Watch what happens when you spin a wheel at 2500 RPM. Our intellectual replies, literally nobody knows the implications of experiment in this man's findings. I do. Profound and the highest is putting it lightly. r/IAmVerySmart. Check out this fun fact. The actual physics theories about the nature of reality are incomparably more fascinating than the infantile, culturally conditioned, and ridiculously shallow premise of Matrix. As for the game, it looks cool. And now we have an Instagram story of a friend who believes this and using it when he talks about astrology. According to quantum physics, a particle vibrating due to your sound when you speak can affect the molecule inside a star at the edge of the universe instantly. This phenomenon is known as quantum entanglement. The greatest illusion of this universe is the illusion of separation. Once again, putting the word quantum in front of everything doesn't make it more scientific. This next one is quite the hard worker. God, every time I see you, I swear you say some new shit that baffles me. I've been right about everything that's happened in the world for the last 2 to 3 years. Shrugging emoji. 130 IQ with 100% marks on pattern recognition. Holy F, haha. Okay, this guy's a total idiot. And I took the test after working 14 hours. Fear me, for my brain has ascended beyond exhaustion. For this next one, we have someone murdered by words. People of Reddit, what category do you think you're in the top 1% of? Let's find out. Intelligence. I have a top 1% rating from Mensa, which means I have a genius IQ. Fortunately, I'm therefore intelligent enough to know that my rating applies to my ability to carry out IQ assessments effectively, and is not a true reflection of my ability and utility as a human being. Friend, colleague, mentor, learner, instructor, or teacher, although I am a teacher by profession. Some of the cleverest people I know, and I do know some, would struggle to open a crisp packet or wire a plug, and have all the common sense of a sack of carrots. And someone else says, my IQ is 136, which is in the top 5% of the world. An IQ of 136 is apparently not enough to understand and answer OP's question. This is a top 1% burn, I'll tell you that. Bruh, that's petty. And someone else says an IQ of 136 is actually in the percentile of 99.1%. And curious about how you got that result too. Okay, what? That is blatantly wrong. A simple Google search would tell you that. I got my score from taking an IQ test a private school provided me before I could enroll. A quick Google search will tell you that you are blatantly wrong, lol. No, I just searched it. What are you searching exactly? 136 IQ percentile. That's the percentile how much better a person is with an IQ of 136 would do on things like SATs and test scores. Even if it did mean exactly what you think it means, I'd still be right. What? Not at all. A percentile means that X% of the population scored equal or below you, and I was just adjusting your shot. I didn't mean you weren't in the top 5%, I meant you were actually in the top 1% if you scored 136, which for some reason I'm starting to doubt now. Okay, I'm speaking to a child. Did you read the article? It explicitly tells you that's not the case. That's not what percentile means. Oh, these intellectuals. This next one is a review on a book on Eastern philosophy. At least he tried. 1 star. Do nothing with the words. If you're interested in this, then your heart and mind must be divided like mine. If only I had both enough to never engage with wisdom, then maybe I would have life more and be without more too. Alas, the lightness of angel wings as wide as heaven though, is more complex than confusion allows. Huh? And now we have some YouTube grammar for this next one. How fast can you upload a live game? A GAD? Yes. How is answering a question like this with the answer yes valid in English? It makes no sense, and I see comments similar to yours everywhere on YouTube, and they're all so stupid. If I was talking to someone and I asked, how fast can you upload a live game? And they answered with a yes, I would think that they're a moron and their brain must be broken. And one honk away replies, in actuality, modest applier of opinionated response, the digitized social platform of which you are in referral to in this statement is known as YouTube with a capital Y and T, not in the form you described it, which has incorrectly been dubbed YouTube, all lowercase. I bet that person would reply like that. For this next one, I didn't reject the trad life rejected me. I have had IRL sex many times. When you are 6'2", strongly built and have an IQ of 181, it is difficult to live the trad life, even though I wish I did sometimes. This dude had to specify IRL. This next one didn't answer his text for a while. I never met him and we had been texting for a few days. I just had to sit and wait for a while, so I wrote this. You are a early 20s female. Duh. You likely have poor interactions regarding men, leading to a form of distrust regarding that gender. Your parents are divorced. I'm guessing you side with your mother. You simultaneously are also interested with sexual activities with men, but this distrust leads to internal cognitive dissonance. You feel as if men take advantage of you, or by projection, all women. This has led you to explore wider sexual concepts and feminist principles in order to find answers to find comfort. However, you neglect to realize that some of these negative interactions are also your own doing. That it may not be men, but rather how you present yourself or even your own choices that causes problems. Likely you want such interactions with men, but also feel some sort of guilt or negative emotions leading to blame on the other participating party. You're an emotional girl whose emotions often overpower logic. You fall back on emotions or displace blame rather than directly dealing with issues. This proves you are high in agreeableness. You want to get laid and you want relationships. But the sexual intersections that are even encouraged by feminist principles like hooking up often leave you feeling awful. Your academic skills lacking in hard science or general ability. You likely study for a degree relating to social services or education. Both are female-dominated areas of study, which further insulates from fields of study where more men are present. You are of average intelligence with social services containing generally a more average IQ than most fields of study, although part of me feels you could be LD. LD, what? If you are compensating for an LD that might raise your IQ slightly and explain your interest in fields relating to LDs, I detect the standard upper middle class Calgary girl insecurity. You feel as if you have had a hard life or that people often take advantage of you, or if you say that's not true, I'm guessing that's a coping mechanism to deal with insecurity. Okay, armchair psychologist, whatever you say. But all I want to know is where the hell did he get all those conclusions from? Just a warning for you all, if you're ever on Reddit writing a comment or a post, don't say I mean on Reddit, otherwise this guy will find you. What do you mean if you didn't already say what you meant to begin with? If you said what you meant, then no need to add word filler, I mean. People use such word fillers when speaking, but to put it in writing is another level. It is not necessary, and when people do it, it makes them come across as less intelligent, and it distracts from otherwise valid points. Your statements can be much more compelling without such filler, and people will take your arguments more seriously. Having said that, I completely agree with your underlying point. Moreover, I feel that she should be recalled after the giant disasters in Seattle she helped create and encourage. This next one brags about their IQ and wants to spread around their quote Nordic genes. I am unmarried, no kids, 6'5", and have a 160 IQ. I kinda want to remain unmarried with no kids, however. The third world doesn't really have sperm banks, and frankly, there are too many short, unattractive people here with unusually low IQs. I don't know the cause. I imagine malnutrition plays a role. Anyone in southern Latin America, I'm in the Andean region, wants some good Nordic genetics? Totes DTF, winky face. And now we have a very smart Twitter user who destroys a keto bro. Guy at gym. Do you do keto? Me. Yes, my body makes ketones when ATP demand cannot be met by readily available carbohydrate, and my NAD/NADH ratio shifts to favor production of ketone bodies. Guy at gym. Completely silent. Probably in awe of my sheer intelligence. And Dude Bro 1275 says, watch out, someone took anatomy class at their local junior college. And for this last one, we must reject all modern culture and return to the 1800s. Not quite monkey, but close enough according to this guy. I don't generally like collage art. The messy aesthetic and the use of randomness and disconnection is too familiar in the greedy environment of the modern West. It's an unintelligent, lazy, and soulless form of art. Anti-art and modern art bleeds and seeps in everything nowadays. Like weed spreading, like the smell of weed wafting through the streets of the supposedly enlightened. In this regard, it seems that all the mainstream artists in all industries from music to fashion must be a part of a particular cloning program that originates in the basement of a Hot Topic in some dirty mall in the suburbs on the border of New York and New Jersey. From the bowels of the temple of consumption, in the rank Dorito and bong water scented stale air, countless clones are set free on the world with their only aim in life being to dull down the planet and suck the life out of everything. Vampiric werewolf kin hell-bent on replacing sincerity with irony and sarcasm. An army of self-proclaimed individuals all dressed in the same garb, regurgitating the same garbage, the DNA donor responsible for these neo-mall goths. Probably the 13-year-old annoying little cousin of whoever created Rick and Morty, or the pet goldfish of said 13-year-old. More depressingly accurate is that this is not the result of cloning, but rather of a Judeo-whatever cult accomplishing its goals through indoctrination of most of the West via monopoly of academia, media, and finance. After generations of dehumanization where mother, daughter, and granddaughter have all been more influenced from their favorite music, their favorite teachers, their favorite songs, than from their own family, the result is a bunch of individuals who by separation of relation and sovereignty of self have become an international pseudo-hive mind, all drinking from the same well. Too distracted by their spoon-fed influences from their appointed influencers to realize that all other wells are being destroyed. Worse yet, there is no proof that a goldfish is even capable of conceiving the existence of all the other goldfish lined up neatly in their separate bowls. And even if they were capable of acknowledging the existence of their peers, there is no proof that a goldfish has the will to connect, nor the capacity. Like goldfish, should the hive mind of hyper-individuals ever gain the ability to conceive their environment, would they have the level of will or capacity needed to change it? Or would they close their two God-given eyes, ingest some chemicals produced by the state that purports to open their third eye, and make a weird little rap song over some cartoon-sampled beat, with some goofy collage art as the cover? Social media is the junk food, collage art, trash of media. If I want someone to influence me, I'll read their book, or watch their movie, or buy their clothing and let it influence me in person. I imagine Reddit, Twitter, Facebook, etc. would ban me even if I did want to fill my life with soullessness. What in the world was up with that essay? This guy was just rambling on and on about modern culture. My goodness. Anyway, I'd like to thank all of my patrons, especially Catalan Cormandy, Spooning the Rogue, Benjamin's Cranjus McBasketball, Bacon Cat, and a jury of juggling Jerrys. You can join in the link below, and thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like. If you have something interesting to say, don't forget to comment. And if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe and hit the little notification bell. See you guys next time.